Today, we're diving into something wild, something ancient, something so powerful it's been tucked away for centuries, not because it's fake, but because it's too real. Imagine stumbling across a key, buried in the sands of time, that unlocks the deepest part of you, your soul's memory. This isn't about learning some new trick, it's about peeling back the layers of junk the world's piled on you, convincing you you're something you're not. What if, right now, you could tap into your true purpose? What if there's a voice inside you, waiting to wake up, and all it takes is a technique once reserved for a select few? That's what this video's about, an invitation to a practice so bright, it's been called forbidden. Not because it's scary, but because an awakened soul is unstoppable. This isn't just a story. It's a guide to a technique rooted in ancient wisdom, hidden by systems that want you to stay asleep. We're talking about a practice that doesn't just change your mind, it changes how you feel who you are. It's not about memorizing facts or chasing theories. It's about activating a vibration, a frequency deep inside you that's been there all along. In the next few minutes, we'll unpack where this technique came from, why it was buried, and how you can actually use it to reconnect with your eternal self, not just a name or a role, but a living, breathing consciousness. Let's set the stage. Across history, every ancient culture's got this thread running through it, this quiet whisper that says we've forgotten who we really are. Life, as we know it, is like a dream, a veil keeping us from our true selves. From Egypt to Greece to India, there were practices to wake up that sacred memory. But here's the kicker, you won't find them in textbooks or churches. They were hidden, mocked, or turned into empty rituals to keep their power out of reach. Why? Because a soul that remembers can't be controlled. Take ancient Egypt. Priests in the houses of life guided initiates through secret rituals, symbolic deaths where their bodies lay still, but their consciousness soared through spiritual realms. When they came back, they weren't the same. They'd crossed the veil. In Greece, the Orphic schools saw the soul as trapped, not in a bad way, but as part of a cosmic journey. They used chants, breathing, and trance states to let the soul peek at its divine roots. It wasn't just cool, it was life-changing. In India, the rishis talked about smarana, remembering what your soul already knows. To them, ignorance wasn't about missing facts, it was about being disconnected. The fix? Silence, unlearning, aligning your vibes to tune back into your original state. Shi Heng Yi, the Shaolin master, echoes this when he talks about mastering your mind through stillness. He says true power comes from clearing the noise, not adding more. That's the core of this technique. Across all these traditions, it's the same idea. It's not about grabbing something new from the outside. It's about reconnecting with what's already inside you, buried under layers of noise. But then, things got messy. Religious wars, rigid dogma, control systems, they twisted these practices, broke them apart, hid their symbols in myths, and labeled them dangerous. Dangerous to who? To the powers that thrive when you're asleep. But guess what? That knowledge is waking up again, and it's calling to those ready to hear it. If you're still here, you're ready to dig deeper into this ancient, so-called forbidden technique. We're not just talking history or cool stories, we're diving into what makes this practice tick and why it's been kept under wraps. This isn't about learning something new, it's about remembering who you've always been. Your soul doesn't need a manual, it needs a spark to wake up its memory. Let's break down how this technique works and why it's so powerful it shakes the systems that want you to stay asleep. At its core, this technique is about tuning into a frequency, a vibration inside you that's like your soul's true song. Picture your soul as a perfect melody, but it's drowned out by static, the noise of expectations, fears, traumas, and all the stories you've been told about who you're supposed to be. This practice doesn't add anything new, it's like a master tuner clearing away the interference so your original melody can shine through. Shi Heng Yi, the Shaolin master, talks about this when he says inner peace comes from stripping away what's not you. It's not about building something, it's about letting go of what's blocking your truth. So, how do you actually do this? The technique has 3 main phases, and they're not a rigid step-by-step deal, but they all matter. First up, deprogramming the false self. This is the heavy lifting. You've got to spot the voices in your head that aren't yours, beliefs you picked up from family, society, or even ads telling you what you should want or fear. Ask yourself, what am I thinking? What do I chase? What scares me? And then the big one, is this really me, or did someone else put it there? This isn't about fighting those thoughts, it's about seeing them clearly. When you do, what's not true starts to crumble. It's like cleaning out a closet full of clothes you don't even like, you make space for what's real. Next is activating your inner sense. Once the noise quiets down, something else starts to show up, a kind of knowing that's not from your brain or emotions. It's direct, like a gut instinct but deeper. You don't force it, you tune into it. This technique uses tools like mindful breathing, silent rituals, or being fully present in your body. Visualization is huge here. Imagine symbols, an inner flame, a lotus in your heart, a mirror reflecting your soul. These aren't random, they're ancient images that act like keys, unlocking memories your soul already holds. Shi Heng Yi emphasizes this focus. When you visualize with intention, it's not daydreaming, it's a bridge to your deeper self. Your soul recognizes these symbols and starts waking up, not with ideas but with vivid, living experiences. The third phase is resonance, finding your soul's true name. Not a word you say out loud, but a unique vibration that's you. Ancient traditions say every being has this sacred frequency. When you hit it, it's like a door swings open, and you feel it, this called who I am. I just forgot. It's not a thought, it's a certainty, a vibration that feels like home. This takes time, dedication, and brutal honesty, but once it starts, it's unstoppable. You begin to see from a deeper place, calmer, more real. That's when the real journey kicks off. Your soul starts remembering, not as a concept, but as a living truth. This practice isn't a quick fix. It's a commitment to face yourself, strip away the lies, and let your true vibration shine. We're back, diving deeper into this ancient, game-changing technique that's all about waking up your soul's memory. If you're still with me, you're ready to explore what happens when this practice starts to take hold, when the layers of noise start peeling away and your true self begins to shine. This isn't just some spiritual theory, it's a living experience that shifts how you see yourself and the world. Let's unpack what it feels like when your soul starts remembering and why this practice was kept hidden for so long. As you work with this technique, deprogramming the false self, tuning into your inner sense, and resonating with your soul's true vibration, something wild happens. It's like a light flicking on in a room you've always had but never explored. You don't just think about who you are, you feel it, like a quiet hum that's always been there. Shi Heng Yi, the Shaolin master, nails this when he talks about finding stillness amid chaos. He says true clarity comes when you stop chasing and start listening. That's what this technique does, it helps you hear your soul's voice, loud and clear. What shows up isn't just warm fuzzies. You start reconnecting with parts of yourself that have been waiting, like the you that loves without conditions, trusts without fear, and knows without needing proof. But here's the real talk, it's not all light and rainbows. When your soul remembers, it also brings up the shadows, mistakes, unhealed wounds, choices you've buried. This isn't punishment, it's freedom. You can't fully embrace your soul without facing the stuff you've hidden, even from yourself. That's why ancient traditions warn that this practice isn't for beginners. It takes guts, not years of meditation, but the raw courage to look at your truth head-on. When you lean into this, something called a conscious trance can kick in. Don't worry, this isn't some woo-woo hypnotic state where you lose control. It's the opposite, an expanded awareness where your soul takes the wheel. You're still in your body, but you notice things differently, like you're watching from a slight distance. Thoughts don't run the show anymore, they're just there. Time feels stretchy, emotions get crystal clear, and you might get sudden intuitions or flashes of memories that feel older than you, like past lives or ancestral wisdom you didn't study but somehow carry. It's like your soul saying, "Yo, I've been here all along." This is the deepest part of the technique. You're not just practicing anymore, you're living it. You start acting from a new center, not from masks or habits but from your true self. Decisions feel easier, relationships get realer, and fears? They don't hit as hard. Here's the paradox: your soul doesn't learn who it is, it remembers. And that memory isn't a story or a picture, it's a steady vibe that feels like home. Once that clicks, nothing's the same. Your body's still here, life keeps rolling, but inside? You're awake, and you're not going back to sleep. This is why the technique was called forbidden. Not because it'll hurt you, but because it threatens everything that thrives on you staying small. An awakened soul doesn't play by the rules of control, it lives from truth. Shi Heng Yi puts it perfectly: real strength is mastering yourself, not others. That's what this practice unlocks, your own unstoppable power. But it's not a one-and-done deal, it's a way of life. We're deep into this ancient, soul-awakening technique, and now it's time to talk about how to make it real, not just a cool spiritual moment, but a way of living. This isn't about sitting in a cave chasing enlightenment, it's about staying awake in the middle of your messy, beautiful life. The forbidden practice we've been exploring isn't a one-time spark, it's a compass for every day, turning your routine into a path of remembrance. Let's dive into how to bring this vibe into your world and keep your soul's memory alive. First off, awakening isn't a finish line. Even a profound moment of remembering doesn't mean you'll automatically live in that state forever. Life's noisy: bills, drama, notifications, and it's easy to slip back into old patterns. This technique is about building habits that keep you tuned into your true self, no matter what's going on. Shi Heng Yi, the Shaolin master, says discipline isn't about restriction, it's about creating space for what matters. That's the vibe here, living with intention so your soul's voice stays clear. Start with active silence. This isn't just turning off your phone or finding a quiet room, it's about creating a mental sanctuary. Take a few minutes daily to just be. No goals, no visions, no chasing. Breathe, watch your thoughts, and let them pass. This isn't meditation with a capital M, it's a pause where you listen to yourself. It's like clearing static so your soul's frequency can come through. Shi Heng Yi calls this returning to zero, a reset that lets your true name echo. Next, make your actions a ceremony. This technique thrives when you bring presence to the little things: eating, walking, talking. Ask yourself, am I doing this from habit, or from my soul? When you act from your center, every move becomes sacred. Picture it like an offering to your true self. Even washing dishes can be a ritual if you're fully there. This keeps your remembrance alive, turning daily grind into a dance with your soul's memory. Third, guard what you feed your mind. Your soul never forgets, but your mind can bury it under junk, scrolling, gossip, or endless news. This technique teaches that everything you take in shapes your inner vibe. What do you watch? What conversations do you lean into? Treat your attention like a treasure. Curate your environment like you're tending a fire, keeping the flames of your soul's truth burning bright. Less clutter, more clarity. Fourth, speak from your core. Words have power, they can either muddy your vibration or amplify it. Don't just parrot what you've heard or talk to fill space. Let your voice come from where your soul lives. When you speak from that place, your words carry weight, they spark something in others. Shi Heng Yi says true speech aligns with your heart's truth. Let your voice be a channel for resonance, not just noise. Finally, act like you already know who you are. You don't need to have it all figured out to live from your soul. Walk with the confidence of someone carrying an ancient legacy. Love like you've loved for centuries. Doubt will creep in, but the soul shows up when you commit to living your truth, even before it's crystal clear. This isn't faking it, it's tuning in, inviting your soul to step forward. These aren't rigid rules, they're principles to weave into your life. When you live this way, you're not just practicing a technique, you're embodying your soul's memory. By now, you know this isn't just a spiritual flex, it's a way to live awake, to carry your soul's truth into every moment. We've talked about clearing the noise, tuning into your inner vibe, and making your daily life a practice of remembrance. Now, let's get real about what this journey means and why it's been called forbidden. It's not just about you, it's about what an awakened soul does to the world around you. Let's jump in. This technique, at its core, flips everything you've been told about who you are. For centuries, systems, religious, cultural, you name it, have pushed the idea that awakening is hard, that your soul's a mystery only a few can crack. But that's the big lie. The truth is simple, direct, and so close it scares the powers that want you asleep. Your soul's memory isn't locked in some secret vault, it's right there, waiting for you to quiet the noise and listen. Shi Heng Yi, the Shaolin master, puts it like this: true strength isn't about conquering the world, it's about mastering your own mind and heart. That's what this practice unlocks. When you start remembering, everything shifts. You don't just think differently, you see differently. People aren't enemies anymore, they're mirrors reflecting parts of you. The future stops being something to fear and becomes something to honor. You stop replaying old, broken stories and start writing from your truth. This isn't about becoming perfect or having all the answers. It's about connecting to something bigger, something eternal. You stop chasing approval because you're tapped into a deeper source. You don't need every question answered because your silence grows wise. And here's the kicker, you stop searching for love because you realize you are love. But let's be real, this path isn't always cozy. Remembering your soul means facing everything that's not you. It strips away the masks, the fears, the stuff you've buried. It's beautiful, but it's raw. You'll see your shadows, mistakes, regrets, wounds, and you'll have to choose, hold on to them or let them go. That's where the courage comes in. Shi Heng Yi talks about facing discomfort as the path to growth. This technique isn't about escaping pain, it's about walking through it to find freedom. You can't claim your light without owning your dark. This is why the technique was hidden, labeled forbidden. Not because it's dangerous for you, but because it's dangerous for control. An awakened soul doesn't follow blind rules or bow to fear. It lives from truth, and that truth ripples out. When you remember who you are, you start waking others up, not by preaching, but by being. Your vibe, your choices, your words, they become a signal, a torch lighting the way for others. That's the revolution. No dogma, no violence, just souls remembering, one by one. If this is hitting you, if something inside is stirring, don't let your mind talk you out of it. That spark is your soul saying, yo, this is for me. Hit that subscribe button if this resonates. Share this video with anyone who needs a nudge to remember. Because there's no greater power than an awakened soul, and when you start, others follow. The world changes not through force, but from the inside out, from remembrance. You're not here to learn something new. You're here to remember what's always been true. We're at the final stretch of this wild ride, unpacking this ancient, soul-awakening technique that's been hidden for centuries, not because it's fake, but because it's too powerful. We've talked about stripping away the false self, tuning into your soul's vibration, and living from that truth every day. Now, let's tie it all together and see what it means to fully step into this remembrance, not just for you, but for the world around you. This isn't just a practice, it's a call to live awake, to be the spark that changes everything. Let's dive in. This forbidden technique isn't a secret recipe or a magic trick you buy off a shelf. It's a reflection of what's always been inside you, your soul's primal memory, waiting to be recognized. You don't need a guru, a temple, or to be perfect. You just need to return to your center, quiet the noise, and let your soul's wisdom shine. Shi Heng Yi, the Shaolin master, says it best, real power comes from aligning your body, mind, and spirit. That's what this practice does. It brings you back to that alignment, where your true self can't be ignored. When you live from this place, the world looks different. You stop seeing life as a grind and start seeing it as a mirror, reflecting back your own truth. You don't fear what's next because you're rooted in something timeless. You don't cling to old stories about who you're supposed to be or what you're supposed to want, because you're writing from your soul now. This shift isn't just personal, it's cosmic. You become a note in a bigger symphony, a vibrant piece of eternal consciousness playing out in the present. And the wildest part? You didn't become this, you just forgot you already were. Here's the real talk: this journey takes courage. Remembering your soul means facing everything that's kept you asleep, your doubts, your wounds, the masks you've worn to fit in. It's not always comfortable, but it's freeing. Shi Heng Yi talks about embracing discomfort as the path to growth, and that's what this technique demands. It strips away what's not you, rebuilds you from truth, and puts you face to face with your essence. When you choose that, you're not just changing your life, you're changing the vibe of everyone around you. That's why this practice was called forbidden. It's not about danger to you, it's about the threat of an awakened soul to systems built on control. When you remember who you are, you stop playing small. You stop needing validation from outside because you're connected to something infinite. You stop chasing answers because your silence becomes wise. You stop seeking love because you are love. And when you live from that place, others feel it. Your presence becomes a signal, a quiet invitation for others to wake up too. So, if this video stirred something in you, if your soul's whispering, "This is it," don't let that spark fade. Hit that subscribe button if this hit your core. Share this with anyone who needs a nudge to remember. Because there's no revolution bigger than an awakened soul. It's not about dogma or fighting, it's about remembrance, one person at a time, rippling out to change the world from the inside. You're not here to learn something new. You're here to remember what's always been true. You're a piece of eternity, dressed in this moment, and that memory is waking up right now. Keep practicing, keep listening, and keep living from that truth. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Let's keep the fire burning.